Welcome to the digital space where ideas interlace with crypto equalizers in a metaverse race. Thanks to Third Academy for hosting our virtual place where Crypto Rican Queen and Money Talks, who's coming later, educate. We're driving deep where the cryptic coins dance, breaking down barriers, giving knowledge a chance. Hello to our viewers from YouTube, Discord, and any social media platform. Strap in for a ride as we give crypto a glance. Remember, this is not financial advice. Okay. And today we're going to talk about an amazing topic that people want to get ready for, and is how to take profit in a bull market. How to take profit in a bull market. And if anybody has any questions at any time, just let me know so that I can actually take a little pause and stuff. So let's specify that sometimes in a bear market, some coins can have a bull market. A bull market basically is when everything is high, right? But at the same time, in a bear market also means that everything is, most of the stuff is low. Doesn't mean that all of it is low or that all of it is high, right? For example, I'm going to go and check cryptobubbles.net, one of the places that I check my crypto of the day. And right now, everything seemed to be red, meaning that the market has gone down. People are pulling money out of the market, not pulling money into the market. That principle of supply and demand. Although Bitcoin is 36,106 in the last week, hit a new height in a bear market, 37,933. We're still in a bear market, but we're in the beginnings of a bull market because we've been seeing a lot of the coins going upwards, including Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these things, okay? So that's one thing that I wanted to clarify. Now, let me give an example of that, because this week, yesterday, I took a huge profit of almost 200%, right? 200%. And thereby, this coin, I bought it at $5,500. I sold it at $15,000 for a profit and ROI of $9,500. Think about that. I was like, wow, right? I was like, wow. And actually I had a limit order to sell at 15, and I tried to see if I can make it go up but then that limit order had already sold out because it had hit that level. Again, I talked to you guys before about focusing on limit orders, not focusing on DCA, dollar cost averaging, which question you guys have been listening to a bunch of other people. How many people talk about dollar cost averaging being the way of doing anyway? You guys heard of dollar cost averaging besides me, right? Besides us, right? Positively, negatively, or neutrally, or what? The what? Okay. Yeah. And you know that I don't like it because, again, dollar cost averaging does not care if you are buying the coin the cheapest. All it matters is about buying recurrently. So when you get to a level of taking profit, you're not going to make as much money as making a limit order, which is you telling the market how much you want to pay. So let's give an overview of the current state of the crypto market. We got an overview of the market's recovery after previous downturns, indications of a bull run beginning in the end of 2023, with increased trading volumes and rising prices. If you go to CoinMarketCap and you look at the whole market cap of the crypto space, is 1.36. Yesterday was $1.44 trillion. But I remember a couple of months ago it was closer to the 1 trillion. So if you notice, slowly there's been more influx of money in the space. Okay. So they let me see. There's also been a lot of introduction on new blockchain projects. And then when you look at the fear and greed, and I don't think I ever talked about the fear and greed index here. The fear and greed index is the gauge for how retail investors feel about the space. And right now, the crypto greed and fear index is what? This one only measures Bitcoin. Right now, there's greed, meaning that people are getting happy about being in this space. Interestingly enough, when there's greed is when you should be selling, when there's fear is when you should be buying, and people do the opposite of it. Has anybody of you guys seen this fear and greed charts? But check them. If it's green and if you see greed, you're supposed to be selling, not buying. And it seems like every bull market is when more people come in, and then when the market goes down, people leave, and it should be the opposite. But anyway, because again, they don't know. I mean, if you don't know better, okay. So that actually also shows that we're moving towards a bull market. We also have regulatory developments that could impact market dynamics. As you guys, well, I don't know. Some people know, some people don't know. But we had a court case with XRP, Ripple. They got sued by the SEC for supposedly selling a security, and the SEC dropped the case. They don't drop the cases, by the way. They always win, mostly always win. So they knew that we're not going to be able to win, so they dropped the case. So this is the first crypto that has clarity in the United States is XRP, and this comes with a regulatory developments, and it's been a lot of more regulatory developments in the United States. I would love, a lot of people don't like the chairman of the SEC because he's basically doing a witch hunt. He's doing inquisition on the crypto space since he took power of the SEC. But crypto asset regulations are changing rapidly around the world. It's not changing fast enough here in the United States, right? Which has been very, 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 very annoying. And then there was regulatory clarity in England, but it's not being posited towards crypto. It's being very, very kind of like a regulation that leads to strangulation, which is not good. Just like here in the United States. At least they have some clarity. We also have to talk about the potential for profit during a bull run, because I gave you one example. I mean, do you think that almost 200% ROI in a couple of months is good? I mean, seriously, anybody?
Oh, I have a quick question, Crypto Rican Queen.
Yes, go
Is that
ahead.
okay? If interest rates now are starting to drop, and the price of the cryptos, most of the cryptos have gone way up, most will double. So isn't that a reasonable time for people to sell and take some profits?
Yes. We have to remember, depends on where you bought, when you bought, and how much you pay for that asset. So for example, I bought most of my XRP at less than 40 cents. And right now XRP is 59 cents. And it's been going to 74, 84 cents. So I already took some profit on that. Those of us that trade take profit more often than people that are in it for the long term, right? So yeah, but it's the answer to the question is if your bag is up and you want to realize that gain, yes, selling some of it is great to take profit. Did that answer the question?
Yes, yes, it did. But the real question is, well, the part of the question is, how quickly should you take profits and just ignoring taxes? Because paying taxes, if you have a huge gain, is a good thing. It means you had a huge gain. So it's not the end of the world.
Um, Again, now we're gonna get into taxes again, but of course it's connected to taking profit, and that's why we did a couple of weeks ago we did that tax podcast. Basically, the good thing about holding for 12 months or more is that you pay less taxes because it's long-term capital gains. Also, there's good and bad in both long term and short term dealing with tax implications. Um, for example, I'm trading, right? So the market is it's gonna be high and low, right? So how much do you think I pay of taxes for my crypto last year? You think I paid something or not, or what?
Well, if you had some good gains, short-term gains, you should have paid something, unless you offset it by some losses.
Exactly. I didn't pay anything because I'm a trader and everything goes up and down. And since everything is going up and down, that's the basically the advantage of doing trades, short-term trades, right? My losses offset my gains. So you learned what I'm trying to say is that you learn to work around the system legally and ethically. And that's what I also have learned to do because you can make all the money in the world, but if you have to give it most of it to you know the government, then what happens? Then you lose. But I always give this example to people. Oh, you have a question,
No, no, that was
Andrew? Oh, okay, cool, cool. Okay, so no, I just wanted to be sure. Um, okay, if you put $100 in a meme coin, and the $100 goes to $100,000, and you sell it, you put 100, right? So you had a gain of nine, the rest of the gain, right? $100 to 100,000. Would you care paying taxes on that when you just basically spend $100?
hopefully, hopefully not.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you do, okay, you pay it. But there's ways to go around that, like selling your profit, getting your profit, and then buying another asset like real estate or something else, right? To shuffle it to something else. It's just like the magic of moving money from one place to another. That's what the tax law teaches you to do when you understand it. So most people wouldn't care that if they put $100 and they make $100,000 to pay taxes on that because they only spend $100, right? Think about it, right? Of course, I'm not saying that you do that because it's a way to not do that legally and ethically. So if you don't have the knowledge, and you have to pay taxes, oh, woohoo, right? But if you have the knowledge, don't pay taxes, legally, I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We talk about legal. We talk about using the tax law, which was made for investors and businesses, to your advantage, not loopholes, but the tax law. Okay. So that answer the question?
Yes, it did.
Any other question? Okay. Doesn't nobody seems to be having. Um, so again, the potential for profit during a bull run is huge. I know this sounds weird, but there's people that have taken $40 to $1 million. I know it sounds far-fetched, right? I don't even know how many crypto millionaires, I mean, crypto millionaires um number, because every year, every bull run, it goes up. With the resurgence, Bitcoin is multiplying the number of millionaires it has created since its inception. It has been reported that over 80,000 accounts had at least 1 million USD worth of Bitcoin at the time of writing this article. 80,000 accounts.
Wow.
So I know I had some friends, one of my friends put 150K in Doge and made a couple of $1 million with that. Then she got into the Shiba and also make a couple of more millions. Um, the bull market, this bull market is going to be huge because this has been, I think it's been the longest bear market that we had. Crypto bear market. I think this is the one of the longest bear markets that we had, and so everything has been down a lot. Like when I go to cryptobubbles.net, okay, and I go for the top 100 coins and I check the percentages of the year, there's still coins that are 80% down, 70% down, 55% down. So actually, those are the ones that I love to buy. As long as they have utility, I love to buy those. Again, because when the market goes up, it's gonna go up. You have a question, Andrew? Okay, you're modeling there. Okay, cool. Um, so again, having an entry strategy when you buy the coins and having an exit strategy, you have to set that yourself. For example, I some people might take profit when their coin goes 10% up. Other people take profit when the coin is 50% up, right? So you have to make that rule. Whatever your situation is, you have to decide, hey, I'm in this for the long term coins that I have. This is what I have. I want to actually take profit after a year. For my short term cryptos, I want to take profit in this level. In each crypto, you should have a specific percentage that you're going to take when you're going to take profit. Okay. So the amplified potential of high returns in the 2023 market due to technological advancements and broad adoption is gonna make people um like, where is she? It's going to make a bunch of people look into our space. People are going to be running. The interesting thing is that people always run again when the bull market comes, and that's how I entered the bull market in 2021. I remember at the end of that year, my portfolio was 75% negative, 75 negative, 80% down, and I'm like, what did I get into? I just didn't understand. And it's like I told my one of my new clients yesterday, was doing a DeFi class on how to use MetaMask and all this stuff, these wallets. I said, remember, if you don't sell, you don't lose or you don't gain. And as long as you understand that's important, okay? It's because some people just want to be holding a year or more. When you're dealing with holding crypto, when you're dealing with holding crypto, she's here. Um, it's a long-term thing. It's a long-term investment. At least 5 years. At least 5 years. And when you're dealing with Bitcoin, it's going to be more than 5 years. Okay. So The influence of institutional investors in large scale adoption and market growth and profit opportunities is important. And let me give you an example of the influence of institutional investors because this week there was a fake out that supposedly XRP was gonna have an ETF, right? Gonna be a exchange traded fund, and it ended up being a false thing, right? Ended up being a false thing. XRP shoot up. XRP went up on that day and then went back down in a matter of a couple of hours. It went up, and we welcome Money Talks Crypto
Can you guys hear me well?
perfectly. So we were talking about your favorite topic, which is the influence of institutional investors in large scale adoption on market growth and profit opportunities. And I was given the example of XRP, the fake ETF thing.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about the institutional investors that have been coming into the space, BlackRock and all these people, and how this is going to bring more adoption to us and more people to know about us here?
So I don't know how often you guys keep up with crypto news. It's it's definitely exciting being in the space because there's always some, and just a little bit of rumor gets the market going. So this week, Kathy Woods, who's one of the biggest influential female investors in the space, said that this market is set to have an exponential growth over the next 7 years. So right now, the crypto market is just a little bit over 1 trillion. It's about $1.4 trillion right now. However, she said that due to the institutional backing and all the ETFs that are coming in, and the SEC is now reviewing, that the market is set to grow to $25 trillion by
Hmm.
2030. So you're talking about $24 trillion being pushed into this market just within 7 years. And well, almost about 6 years, and you have maybe like 6 weeks left of 2023. So that just shows you the the growth potential that this market has. And again, when you look at the space that we're in right now, this is still being called the early adopter stage within this industry. So if you guys think about like companies, and I can tell you because I lived it and I experienced it, I have always been interested in tech. And I remember when Amazon first rolled out, and same thing with PayPal, I was one of the earlier users. But at that age, I was still a teenager. So I wasn't thinking about the investment side of it. But throughout my life, I have seen how PayPal has grown. I have seen how Amazon has grown. Same thing with now the younger apps when it comes to the payment system, like Cash App, Sale, all these things, you know, they're still in the early stage, and not a lot of people know about them or use them, but they're facilitating the payment aspect. And it's interesting because even the one of the International Monetary Fund members said that this space is a space that you cannot back away from just because you think this is a scam. And that's a word that is heavily thrown around the space. Even reputable companies are called scams just because of how this market works, and how we experienced 80% drop within the last 2 years. But when you look at the history of PayPal, in the beginning, PayPal had used to have a lot of scams too. You will have people from other countries, some countries in Africa or Asia, trying to scam people in the US. You experience the same thing with Sale. Now Sale is a big scam one that even Facebook, when you're looking at their marketplace, they will tell you be careful with who you're sending money to, be careful with Sale, be careful with Cash App, because wherever there's money to be made, you will have a group of scammers. That's just the reality. And every single payment system that we have seen has gone through this. Even when you're looking at e-commerce, Amazon sometimes add sellers. Same with Walmart and same with eBay. So again, it's just getting educated, seeing what the institutions are doing and what the bigger companies are doing. And then once you educate yourself on that, then you have a better understanding what assets are assets that are going to be here for a long term and which assets are assets that people are just trying to make quick money from and then do a rug pull.
Yes, I'm glad that you mentioned the whole thing with scams because that's another thing that's going to come with this whole bull market. And talking about that, one of my clients was talking to this guy on social media that she supposedly knew. And then the last thing is that he asked her for money. So it was like a whole pig butcher scam. And I told her, oh my God, this is crazy, right? So not only you have to get ready for taking profit, but you also have to get ready to protect your assets, by the way, because things like this, phishing emails, people trying to steal money from you is going to go worse. The more money that enters the space, the worse it's going to be. I wanted to talk a little bit about the emergence of DeFi and NFTs as significant contributors to the bull run. Um, like example, right now we got a startup that wants to make DeFi less stressful for institutions and raises 4.1 million. A group of former Coinbase product and engineering experts has raised 4.1 million for their startup. Definitive, which aims to make DeFi's emerging capital markets more accessible for institutional investors by automating various aspects of the DeFi ecosystem. So we got that, right? We got people trying to going to, enter DeFi. But also we got people that love the meme coins. And I still don't understand. I mean, I understand that you can take $100 money, but it doesn't have any utility. And again, it's a quick way for people to make money. So DeFi is going to be big. How big you think is going to be DeFi in the next bull run? Money talks.
So I think DeFi is actually a topic that a lot of people think that the institutionals investors are not paying attention to, but they actually are. And again, it's about finding those quality projects that will have that backing by institutions, also have a good team. They also have so if you guys have been paying attention to the market, one of the DeFis that have been running pretty quickly is Euro Finance, and it involves staking. And that's one that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. And the reality is that is a project is the only cryptocurrency in the history of cryptocurrencies that have actually hit $96,000. From that top, it bottom this year we saw prices about $4,000, $5,000. And again, because you have such a significant drop, people think, oh, that's just a project that doesn't backing. They probably don't have a good team, whatever the case may be, and they just disregard the project. But if you pay attention to the charts, just within the last few weeks, it's up more than 180%. So you just have to, again, pay attention to Bloomberg. I will always reiterate Bloomberg because it shows you the global economy and how it's moving. They always focus the crypto segments, just covering crypto, the regulations. Um, Sometimes they cover some of the most important news, like with the SEC, the regulations. Sometimes they do cover some of the new companies that are being created in this bear market as well. So there's just so much that you have to keep on top of. And again, DeFi do have a space within the institutional investors. And I do feel that it's a space that people think it's not going to grow just because they think everything will continue to be. and that's not the reality. They are seeing that there's interest in not only decentralized finance but also social media and science, and there's so much more that is being developed just with this decentralization focus. So that's an area that you definitely have to study if you're not familiar with, and definitely research what are the ones that have the bigger backing.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Monito. So, um, very quick, like I said, a definition of a bull run is a period where cryptocurrency prices consistently rise over an extended time frame, characterized by widespread optimism, investor confidence, and increased investment, often triggered by a combination of factors, including technological advancements, hello, AI, regulatory changes, and macroeconomic trends. We also have a snowball effect on cryptocurrency prices. Initial price increases attract new and existing investors, creating a momentum. As more investors join, the demand outpaces supply, further driving up prices of crypto. Media coverage and word of mouth can accelerate the process, leading to a FOMO, fear of missing out, frenzy. Okay, so the role of the investor in the sentiment of driving in a bull run is that you have to be calm, not to freak out when something goes up or goes down or whatever. Um, let's talk a little bit about money talks about the importance of understanding. Well, I see choosing choosing the right cryptocurrencies. We already talked about that. Um, just simple of taking profit. Like, what is your how do you gauge when you take profit specifically? Money talks.
So this varies for everyone, and it all depends again what kind of account you're holding. So there, most of us have multiple accounts. We have accounts that we just play around with. We have accounts that we trade with. There's also accounts that you go ahead and are just long-term holdings for your retirement. You know that this is something. This is an emerging technology. It's a technology that will, it's at the beginning stages. So for example, the ones that's a lot of people, the ones that they have for their retirement, those are ones that they just put, a small amount of percentage in and they just leave it there. Then the ones that you want to use, let's say for the next 5 years, like whenever you whenever you have a financial advisor, the first thing they ask is it long term or short term? If you want short term spending money just to have buying power laying around for whatever it is you need, um, those people tend to be a little bit more aggressive. So for those people, sometimes they take 50% or they take 100%. And then once that cycle starts again, because we go through cycles with these markets, they once they realize that it's getting closer to the top and the fear greed index is beyond greedy, people start taking profits. And then what they do is when the market collapses again, they repeat the cycle. So some people do this every 4 years, or they do it every 2 years. When they'll wait to enter when the market is getting closer to that beginning stages of the bull market, and then they'll just hold it for 1 or 2 years and then they sell to minimize the taxes. But then you have people that have different exit strategies. So they'll take 25% going up. Once it gets closer, they take another 25%. And then once they get to the top, they decide they want to take 25% or 50%, or at least some of the assets in there just to see how the market is going to move. But one of the things that I always tell people is you don't have to necessarily do technical analysis, but look at the bottoms and the tops of each specific asset, and like that, when it's getting to closer to the bottom or closer to the top, and like that you can design your own exit strategy, because again, everyone's financial plans are different. You might have a need within 1 or 2 years, where others are just looking to maximize their investments at an earlier age and take them out later on because they know that this is a growing industry.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying to the guys. That what we do with our taking, when we take profit is different than everybody else. So you have to create a set of rules for your, um, a plan. Because again, as somebody that has less budget, less money, will focus more on the short term, right? To grow their crypto faster than somebody has more money and has more time. So again, focusing on a short term or long term, and those of us that do both, right, do short term and long term investments with crypto and stocks. That's another thing. You still, no matter what you're holding, you need to have um, your asset. You need to have a plan, right? This applies to anything that is actually buying an asset, forex, crypto, stocks, right? Um, does anybody have any questions about anything?
I have one. It relates to meme coins, with all the people making money who have made money from meme. A meme
Mhm.
coin may not be a scam. They may be something real, but I'm not quite sure what, other than gambling, and that there's a somebody puts in a good word. Elon Musk once put in a good word for Dogecoin, and it went way up, and then it went way back down. But completely unrelated to any economic conditions, any utility, anything. Can you comment on the meme coin world and whether people should?
I don't know if you guys know, but I was anti DeFi before I got into DeFi. And so if you're new, and you don't know, I wouldn't recommend getting in DeFi because it's complicated. Example, one time I was semi asleep and I wasn't all there, and I actually lost $600 in a second, right? Because I sent it to the wrong blockchain. This is not like buying crypto in Coinbase where it's pretty user friendly and easy. This is more you doing it, right? You need to pay attention to protect your DeFi wallet from hacking. So like I actually had to connect to the DeFi wallet, MetaMask, a ledger, a co-wallet, so that I only can be the person that gets in there. And so, but if you understand this space, and you understand how to use a DeFi wallet and when to get in and when to get out, these things are not for holding. So I'll give you a case of somebody that I know that made a crypto project coin, and they were telling people to hold that coin. But most of these DeFi crypto projects are pump and dumps, basically rug pulls. It will go up really high and then just fall like a rock, right? So it's not something that you can be holding, right? Most of these projects you have to be paying attention in front of the screen. It's not like you can do a limit order to sell. So there's advantages of being in the centralized exchanges. But if you want to make really quick money, DeFi, you can put $10 and make $1,000. I know. If you know how to do it, you can do that. So again, there's no fundamentals in there besides getting in and out, and there's no utility. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it did. It did. But it's still, people really get worked up over these meme coins, and it start buying. And I don't know if people who do it can afford it or not afford it. It's like penny stocks 20 years ago. And I guess penny stocks still exist, and people buy and trade penny stocks on recommendations of brokers. But I think it's sort of disappeared. At least it disappeared from the press.
Yeah, but penny stocks don't go as fast. They're not going as fast as a DeFi coin that you can actually, like example, I put 100 in one coin, made $600 in less than a week. Put 500. This is all DeFi. Put $500 in a crypto coin, made $6,000 in less than a week. So that's why people are crazy about this area, because it's basically, like you said, gambling. It's like a Russian roulette. You find the right coin and you make it. You get the lottery. It's like playing the lottery, but you got a higher chance of winning this lottery than the lottery that you buy a ticket. That's why people go crazy with these coins. Money Talks, want to comment on this subject?
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, I actually was covering this about a week ago. So the thing with the meme coins is, um, there's a lot of people that are coming into the space to just hit that millionaire status. That's just the purpose of it. Um, and a lot of those people are, part of the younger generation. The mindsets have shifted a lot between, what's the American dream and what kind of lifestyle you want compared to the older generations. A lot of the newer generations are more, they don't want to work their whole life. They want to retire early. They want to just enjoy their life, and the meaning of a successful life and all these other things are changing very quickly for the younger generations. So that's one of the reasons why they're heavily drawn towards the meme coins. If you look at Shiba Inu, um, just putting $40 in 2019, you would have been a millionaire in 2020. Within, I'm talking about less than a year. It's the only cryptocurrency that has actually returned 2.3 million% in yield of profit within less than 2 years. So, when people see that, especially the younger generation, they're willing to risk it. They're willing to take that risk because, um, to them, if it's life changing, status and money essentially, and it's a little bit, for us that are a little bit more conservative, and we see the growth and the potential of this emerging technology, we try to move closer with those projects that we see, are going to have a massive growth within the industry and are here for the long term. Now, a lot of the people will tell you, if you're going to look into meme coins, only put in about 20, $40. If you get in at the right point, just a merely 20, $40 can have a high potential return if you get in early on. And that's what happened with Shiba. That's what happened with Dogecoin, even Bitcoin in the beginning stages. A lot of people never thought that Bitcoin or Shiba or Doge were going to hit the levels that they have hit. Therefore, that's why a lot of the people are willing to risk more when it comes to these meme tokens, and they're willing to take a chance. Because again, I mean, no one expected Bitcoin to have hit 68,000 in 2021. You thinking about the people that got in when it was the same as Shiba Inu prices, some of those people sold at $180, at $200, and they thought they were making a killing. So just, you know, within the last decade alone, a lot of cryptocurrencies have hit all-time highs that were never predicted, even by institutional investors. And the reality is, when you look at Bitcoin now, because I was looking at this yesterday, Bitcoin has only been around for 15 years now. And when you think about the Dow Jones, it's been around for many years. And Bitcoin has now surpassed the Dow Jones, even though Bitcoin is in the red today. It's still over $1,000 higher than the Dow Jones. And when you think about the numbers and just the age of Bitcoin compared to Dow Jones or the New York Stock Exchange or the Nasdaq, it's just mind blowing. because again, it was never expected. Bitcoin was never supposed to be what it is today.
That was a good answer. I have another question about the bull market. The Bitcoin halving is coming up, and I've seen reports saying that that should lead to more growth in the price of Bitcoin. You have could you explain the Bitcoin halving and what's going to happen and why people are saying that that will lead to higher prices for Bitcoin?
Go ahead, Money Talks.
So essentially, the Bitcoin halving is when the reward for mining is decreased. So that happens every 4 years and it cuts in half. That's why some people call it the halving, some people call it the halvening. So essentially, I believe right now is about 6.5, and it's supposed to be cut in half, as opposed to getting 6.5 in rewards. You're not going to be getting 3.25 for mining one Bitcoin. And essentially, the miners, because the difficulty is increasing in mining Bitcoin, the rewards become less and less. And as Bitcoin continue to mature, and keep on going through these 4 cycles, these 4 year cycles, it gets harder and harder, and they're gonna get paid less and less over time. With that, every time Bitcoin experiences a bull market, I mean, every time it experiences a halving, that triggers a bull market. And that just has been part of the cycle. Um, so when it starts to initiate that bull market, you get a lot of people just flooding into the market and putting more funds, putting on more liquidity, and that's when you have some of these cryptocurrencies hit an all-time high. So that has been the case uh, for the last 3 bull cycles of Bitcoin. It's always triggered right after the halvening. So right after the halvening happens, which is set to happen sometime in April, um, you start seeing that asset appreciation within the cryptocurrencies. And thus far, it has also been aligned with the stock market, and the stock market hitting also going through their bull market.
Okay, I think I understand. So the prediction is that when this happens, the price of Bitcoin might go up.
Exactly. And everything else usually follows, by the way. Because the reason a lot of people focus on Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is the first one, right? And so whatever usually Bitcoin does, usually all the other coins follow. Um, I wanted to say, like I said, we're still in a bear market. We can still we can see that we're in the beginning of a bull market, but we still have coins that have gone high a lot. Like example, this is coin called Caspa that in the last year has gone up 1,690%. Think about that, 1,690%. So over a year ago, it used to be 0.004 and now it's 11 cents. So in the bull markets or in the bear markets, we always have some coins that basically react the opposite of what the whole market is doing. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to have opportunities to sell on a bear market or to buy on a bull market, right? Money talks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's this is why I think covering this topic is very, very important, because analyzing when you can buy and when you can sell, and you do that during these markets, during these bull run is very important, because what we have seen, and this is something that happened with Coinbase. I believe it was the Super Bowl 2 years ago, when they call it the crypto bowl because of all the crypto commercials. Coinbase commercial was essentially a QR code. You would scan it and you would sign up, and they were giving away, I think they had like a sweepstake, or they were giving away X amount when you signed up worth of crypto. And that alone just um, shut down their whole website. People were not able to do anything. They just, it was too much traffic for their website to handle. And these things do happen as well during the bull market. And sometimes even during the bear market, when the prices go incredibly low and everyone is trying to buy, they jam up the systems, the exchanges, the websites, etc. So it is very important for you to always keep an eye out to how these markets are moving so that you have the opportunity to buy and sell. And not only that, but also have the ability to have multiple exchanges so that if one exchange is not working properly, you have the ability to navigate another one.
Great.
Yeah,
One last question is coming in
go ahead.
from YouTube. The question is: looks like the interest rates, at least in the United States, have hit the peaks. They're starting to drop slowly. Does that mean what impact will that have on crypto?
The interest rates for real estate, you mean?
The interest rates, the Fed's interest rate hikes look like they're either temporarily ceased or permanently ceased. So the question is, if interest rates start to fall, what is the impact of falling interest rates on the crypto market?
So this is something that it's not quite clear yet. I know they have paused it for the last two, but they're saying that they're going to reevaluate in 2024. Some people are predicting that depending on the evaluation, they might go up or they might continue to go down. We know inflation is starting to come down for sure. Um, but the interest rate, they still haven't start decreasing them. It's just paused for the moment. So they're gonna evaluate whether or not they should keep going up or whether they should start the quantitative easing. Um, but in the end, if it starts going down, you got to understand that when interest rates start moving down, more people start getting loans because the interest rate are not as high, and because they're taking more loans, they're doing more business deals. The housing market is going to be moving. There's going to be more funds flooding the markets because there's even people that take funds out or loans out just to flood the market. And in the end, it's just going to push the economy higher during this bull market if they start dropping down because people are going to have more buying power and they're going to have more funds to put into the market, especially when they see how the assets are appreciating and how quickly they're appreciating. Um, there was a report that came out from Forbes that 2025 and 2026, you're going to see a lot more millionaires being made because they took these advantages of the last 2 years. I mean, next year we have already seen the assets appreciating, and the International Monetary Fund themselves said that starting October 23, we have, which we are already seeing, assets will begin appreciating again, and by 2024, the U.S. Global economy is supposed to have a 3.4 growth. So we are expecting for the next 2 years to be very good for the U.S. GDP and for a lot of other nations around the world.
And for the crypto space, right? Because this is also going to affect, um, it is actually connected to all the economy. Impact on the US dollar, lowering interest rates typically decreases the value of the US dollar because it makes borrowing cheaper and can increase the supply of money in the economy. Just like Monito said, investor sentiment, usually when interest rates are lower, it can lead to a shift of investor sentiment towards riskier assets. Lower borrowing costs can encourage investors to move away from traditional savings and look for high returns. I noticed that when the market is the interest rates, I think that's one of the reasons that the meme coin space, we had a bull market not a couple of months ago that people were just putting a lot of money there, where coins will go um, a billion in market cap in in just a week, like Pepe did, and all this other stuff. The correlation with traditional markets, the crypto market is often correlated with traditional financial markets. When the Fed lowers interest rates, it can stimulate the stock market and other financial markets by making it cheaper to borrow money for investments. As a result, the increased liquidity and risk appetite can spill over into the crypto market, potentially pushing up prices. So, again, everything in the end is connected, even though people sometimes don't see that connection. Hope that makes sense, right?
Yeah, did make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people don't realize, I mean, this has been said multiple times. I just think people are not paying attention. If you start paying attention to like the World Economic Forum, the World Government Summits, and the International Monetary Fund, they're all clearly speaking about cryptocurrencies not only being this get quick rich game, but it actually does, a lot of them for the most part do have good use cases. They're already being adopted around the world, and this is considered a new asset class. Is a very young, at an early stage asset class. But if you again have a disciplined mind, and you change that mindset and start looking at it as an asset class, as opposed to just a rich get quick rich game, or you know uh, just scams, you might be able to profit, and not only profit, but have um, have a life, what do you call it, have life changing funds and wealth come from this. And I feel that one of the things that crypto has really brought to light is the lack of financial literacy and the lack of technical education. We still see a lot of people struggling with cryptocurrencies, not only because of it being a brand new industry, but also because of the tech side that is involved when you are using exchanges and moving cryptocurrencies from one exchange to a wallet and all these things. So it has also been eye opening for everyone that's within the community, because sometimes we take for granted what we know and the technology that we have, um, compared to other people around the world that don't have the same privileges and the same advantages that we have here in the US.
Uh, yeah, I think that made sense. Um, Maybe we're coming up on the hour, so maybe we should wrap. You think?
Yes. Yes. I mean, unless if anybody else, has a question, but if not, anybody in Discord or anywhere else?
Don't see any.
Okay. So, and now we wrap our session of Digital Grace with Minds Enlightened. We end this enlightening phase. Thanks to Third Academy for the metaverse space, and you, our dear viewers, for joining us in this race. From Crypto Rican Queen to Money Talks Insights, we journey through the crypto day and nights. Stay tuned and connected. Keep your goals in sight. Until next time, keep your investments safe and tight. And hopefully, we see you guys in 2 weeks, where we're going to discuss miners. And I know Money Talks is going to be very interested in speaking about this topic in the next 2 weeks, mining. So thank you so much, guys, and have a great weekend.